kids on the block choreographer, I've been told, Kevin Butterfield.
Hi guys, how you doing? I want to give a shout out to Casey and Liz. Go ahead and give them a round of applause. They just got engaged, and it's also his birthday. Thank you. I'll spend a little time in my life for a while. I'm going to try something new, just tell you some true stories that actually happened in my life. My wife and I lived in Florida, and we took a job in Arizona. We couldn't afford a U-Haul truck, so we just packed everything in both of our cars and headed out. And she thought it would be a good idea that we kept in touch. We couldn't afford cell phones at the time either, so we got these 50-cent walkie-talkies at a garage sale. One of them had a broken antenna, one of them had a knob missing. Okay? So we're going across country, and she just starts gabbing. You know, we were using for emergencies, but she started talking too much. So I just stepped on the gas and got a little bit out of range, at a 2-mile range, so I wouldn't have to listen to her. And every time I put this thing up to my head, it would get hotter and hotter and hotter, right where the antenna was. I don't know why, I'm not an electrician, but somewhere in the middle of Texas, the thing gave up the ghost and just arced over and hit me in the skull like a lightning bolt when I wanted to talk to her. So I chucked it out the window, and I told her that I would see her when we got to the apartment in Phoenix, okay? So we got to Phoenix at the apartment, and I got there a few hours before she did, so I got the key to the apartment, checked it out. And in the common area, there was a bunch of jacuzzis, very well landscaped, palm trees, grass, wood chips. It was very nice. And it was in the fall, so there was leaves in the jacuzzis. So when she got there, about 11 o'clock, I said, let's go get in the hot tub and just relax. She goes, that sounds like a good idea. So I got in the jacuzzi, was sitting down in there, and water was up to here, and I was motorboating like a little kid. Guy's motorboat. And I said, flip on the switch, and she goes, no, I'm not getting in there because there's a bunch of leaves in there. And I said, well, don't worry, I'll flip the switch and I'll get the leaves out of there. So I'm sitting there, and the leaves come by, and I grab and throw them out of there. You know, then there's some wood chips in there floating around and bouncing off my face and off my lips. And I said, wait a minute. These wood chips really don't feel like wood out here. So I just reached out to grab one, and I couldn't grab it. So I said, I'll just cup the next wood chip that comes by. So I did that, and when I caught it, I looked at it, and it melted like a Hershey's, like a Hershey's Kiss. And then I smelled it. And then I looked in the windows to see whose toilet I was sitting in. So someone took a dump in it, and I'm sitting there playing motorboats with it. Yeah, it's terrible. So, on that happy note, let me take you on a little plane trip, okay? I was going from Detroit to Fort Lauderdale, had a 2.5-hour layover in Atlanta. So I was 21, went to this the bar that they have in the airports, and just ordered an iced tea and was reading my book. And this good-looking girl came up, sat down next to me, and started talking. She goes, what are you drinking? I said, iced tea. She goes, I'll get you next one. So we sat there and talked for about an hour, and she left. And then the bartender came up and says, would you like another Long Island iced tea? I said, what the hell's a Long Island iced tea? And she goes, well, that's what your lady friend, she bought you 4 of them in the last hour. I had no idea what it was. It tasted like iced tea, but whatever. So I got up and I had to catch my plane, and the first 20 steps, I realized what Long Island iced teas were. It started to hit me, and I was starting to sway a little bit. In the 40 steps, I realized that I wasn't going to get my carry-on luggage to the plane. I just dropped it down there and left and started walking. You know those moving sidewalks in the airport? They weren't invented then, but it felt like I was on one. I was just staggering all over the place. I had to get to gate F pretty quick, and by the time I got there, it said gate FF. I was seeing double. You know, it's just terrible. And I said, well, let me get in the plane, sit down. I got a window seat. I'll sleep it off till we leave. So this stuff started to hit me now, pretty good, and I was sleeping with my head on the window looking outside. And the plane started to take off, and I just opened my eyes. And what I saw was these white lines going down the runway, faster and faster and faster. I was schmammered anyway, and that just threw me immediately into the bed spins. So we're in the plane going down the runway. I'm sitting up. My cheeks automatically went. They filled up with the chunks. As we're blasting down the runway, we didn't even leave the ground yet. So I was thinking really quick. I slept through the pre-flight instructions. I don't know where the barf bag is. I got 20 pounds of chunks in my mouth, and that's probably a 10-pound bag, so I can't do it. I didn't want to put my hand over my mouth because it'd be like a water wheel. So this is a true story. So what I did is I tried to minimize the collateral damage, and I just threw up in the lady's hair in front of me. Probably some blue-haired lady. I just blew out the back of her head like she was in Duran Duran now. And I tapped her on the shoulder where it was dry. And I said, I'm sorry, this is my first time flying. Of course, it smelled like vomit. And I don't know what happened up there, but I got out of my seat. We still didn't leave the ground, but we were booking on the runway. And that laboratory seat, or a door in the back, came out to me very quick. I just blasted in there, took a seat, and they locked me in there and told me to stay there till we get to cruising altitude. So, I just thought I'd share that with you. I'm out of time. Next